Warning, the RCWR show with Lee Sanders is intended for a mature audience only. The following is an Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive. Covering the latest in wrestling and beyond since 2011. You're listening to the RCWR show. Now, your host, live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Hey, what is going on, good kind people? Checking out Friday night edition of the RCWR show coming at you for, May the 14th, 2021. Why does it sound like I'm getting ready to say something along the lines of Force be with you there? May the 14th. But no, May 14th, 2021. What is going on, good kind people? I hope that your weekend is off to a solid start. And for those of you that unfortunately have to work this weekend, hey, I feel you. I definitely got to work this weekend myself. As always, though, I got Sundays to myself. But I get off work a little bit early tomorrow. Enough time to pretty much get home. And I can grab a quick bite to eat and then enjoy this Impact Plus pay-per-view that's supposed to be going down. We'll definitely talk a little bit more about that card and some other stuff that's going to be going down on tonight's show. But hey, man, I do appreciate you guys that's tuning in right now. However you're tuning in, be it live, as we're streaming on multiple outlets right now. We doing the Twitch. We all over the place right now. We got the YouTube. We got a lot of stuff that's banging right now. So however you're tuning in live, checking out the show, appreciate that love and the support as always. Hey, do me a favor. If there is a little bit of lagging that's going on, let me know, because I may have one too many applications open, and I can definitely off the fly do my very best to hook you guys up. So, but we got a nice, fun, jam-packed show planned for you guys, but I hate to open up the show like this on such a Debbie Downer and everything, but we just can't. We can't go any further into the show until we address this, and that is like just a couple of hours ago. The announcement had broke by his own family, nonetheless, that New Jack Jerome Young, the ECW / hardcore legend, has passed away. He passed away at the age of 58. Pretty shocking to hear this, because 58 is so young. It really, really is, especially in the black community. That's pretty young, especially for our young brothers out there. That's pretty young. And when I found this out, it was kind of crazy, because me and the missus, we actually had spent about an hour out, and I actually was getting measured, fitted, and all that for my wedding tux. And the first place that we went to Men's Warehouse. Hey, they always say you're going to like the way you look. They don't say the guarantee it part anymore, because obviously the guy that used to say that was the official face for Men's Warehouse. They pretty much kicked him to the curb and everything a long time ago. But, we had went first to Men's Warehouse, and that was pretty good. The guy that was actually measuring me and all that, he was pretty cool. He actually was on top of his comic book game, as we showed him a picture of, and don't worry folks, I didn't forget the main topic at hand. Just stay with me. It's loose show tonight. I mean, we're pretty much, loose candy talk is pretty much how we usually do it when I am here on the Friday shows. But for the most part, we pretty much try to do that same trend from our Monday night show as well, where you notice the Wednesday show is a little bit more wrestling heavy oriented and all. But stay with me on this topic for now. So, but he was he knew his stuff when it came to the talk of comic books, comic book movies, and everything. And so we showed him an image of what I was trying to go for. And in my own private Facebook wedding group page and everything, everybody had saw what I wanted to wear ultimately to the wedding and everything. I was a little bit inspired by Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin attire. And he looked at it and he says, "Oh, you going for the Kingpin look, huh?" I said, "Yeah." And it was interesting because he gave us some nice little tidbits of information about, okay, you're not going to be able to get that exact look because there's something that was, long story short, some type of extra additive that they had put into those suits that basically you're just not going to be able to find it in any store. That pretty much was his whole point. But he was like, you could try K&G. K&G might, it's a long shot, but K&G, they might actually have it. But worst case scenario, if they don't, y'all just come on back over here and we can try to do the next best thing. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. So we went to K&G. I didn't find anything at K&G that, yeah, that's about all as I need to tell you guys. I didn't find anything as far as K&G went. So we actually called our guy at the Men's Warehouse, told him what was up. And so we got an appointment with him and everything. So, we were out and about running a couple of errands. We come on back to the house probably just a little bit after 7 o'clock. I actually was in front of the computer, setting up my templates, getting my wallpaper and all of that ready for the show tonight. And then on Twitter, I had my Twitter open in the background. And then I see the news. I'm going, nah, this can't be accurate. Like somebody's playing a mean, cruel fucking joke. First thing I do, as always, when I'm trying to confirm, do a Bing, do a Google search and all that. And lo and behold, the information was actually legit, unfortunately, that New Jack had passed away. Now, the way it's looking right now, as far as the cause of death and everything, I mean, this is really, really, really early, and mad props to Mike Johnson, a PW insider, because he actually was, if not the first, definitely among the first, but as far as I know, he was the first to pretty much break the news. New Jack passed away from a heart attack at his home down in North Carolina, and I find it so whoa, because my wedding is in North Carolina. My wedding coming up in less than 3 weeks is in North Carolina, so find it rather just whoa. But yeah, he died of a heart attack at his North Carolina home. His wife, Jennifer, had confirmed this. So definitely, I want to send nothing but mad prayers, thoughts, condolences to his wife, those beautiful children that he's leaving behind, to his friends, to his colleagues, definitely the fans all across. Look, me personally, I was never really a New Jack fan, and I know that may shock some of you guys, but there definitely was a significant period there where it came to ECW. There was a lot of ECW I actually had missed, and it wasn't by design. There was a lot of personal stuff that I had going on, which is completely different show for another day, but there was so much personal stuff I had going on in my life during that time period when ECW was just at its pinnacle and everything, that I missed out on some of the best moments in perhaps wrestling history. And a lot of those moments I definitely missed of New Jack and everything. It actually wouldn't be until years later, pretty much after ECW went out of business, that I actually had got to try and catch up on some of the stuff that I missed and everything. But the little bit that I had saw of New Jack off and on from over the years, it's interesting. It's interesting because I remember watching the hardcore wrestling stuff and everything and just jumping out of my mind, seeing the crazy shit that I was seeing and just going, wow. And I thought it was the coolest fucking thing that I had ever seen in my life. I knew that what I was watching was definitely as young as I was, I knew what I was watching was a completely different beast than what I was accustomed to. And so when it comes to that extreme level of violence in wrestling, as far as that hardcore wrestling goes, you got to have a unique taste for it. It's definitely not for those that are very squeamish and all of that. And so, with New Jack, it was definitely for me, it was, whoa. I mean, this guy, he is going above and fucking beyond to entertain, to fucking entertain. He is really going above and beyond to have fans walk away going, what the fuck, at the shit that he's doing and everything. And so, but I was never really a fan of his work, believe it or not. I was never really a fan of his. If you were to ask me, who were the guys from ECW that, okay, I latched onto them and I pretty much followed them for their entire career, even up to now as we speak. Rob Van Dam, Tommy Dreamer, although I don't like some of the hokey dokey stuff that's been going on with him as of late. Shout out to those of you that know exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to the Impact product. Mick Foley, without a doubt. Sandman, Raven, Balls Mahoney, Dudley Boys. Those were mainly the cats that I franchise. Shane Douglas. Those were mainly the cats that I gravitated towards the most, and I was just eating up. Sabu, can't believe I almost forgot about my man Sabu. Definitely, and some of you guys feel free, you could probably throw another name at me and ask me straight up, well, what about this guy? And I'll be honest with you, I'll let you guys know straight up whether or not that was somebody I actually stayed following and everything throughout the years. But New Jack was not one of those people. It wasn't anything personal whatsoever. I couldn't, honestly, I could not give you an answer right here as it stands tonight, why I didn't latch on to New Jack, especially since that's a brother, I'm a brother. I couldn't tell you guys. I honestly couldn't. But, you think about just the decorated career that he's had. Some of the most craziest, insane matches, fights that he's had. I mean, shit, the mass transit incident that happened back in the day. That is just one of many iconic moments in wrestling history that is still talked about to this very day. And if you guys did not get a chance to check out from last season, his Dark Side of the Ring episode, now more than ever is the time. I'm sure you could probably find it on YouTube or Daily Motion. Now's the time to jump out there, go try to watch that episode and everything. But, here's a guy that pretty much started getting into the pro wrestling industry, late 80s going into the early 90s there. You had that brief period where he was working for Jim Cornette's promotion. Look at who he was trained by too. I mean, he was trained by, oh man, the name's almost kind of escaping me. Ray Candy. He was trained by Ray Candy. He was working under Jim Cornette's promotion over in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. He wrestled in a tag team called the Gangstas, if you all remember that, with Mustafa Saeed. All right, so he's doing all of that in the early 90s. Like I think about 92 is when he did his in-ring debut, started officially breaking into the business and everything. So he started making an early name for himself, was turning heads early on in his career and everything. And then once he signed up with Paul Heyman and ECW, he did that around 95. How many times was he a tag team champion, by the way? Was he like 2 or 3 times that he was a ECW tag champion and everything? But it really wasn't those tag titles that made him most memorable during that time in ECW. It was the extreme style of wrestling, fighting, just the hardcore aspects of it that really, and he helped largely, he helped ECW in his own respected rights. He helped really put ECW, Paul Heyman, really make it be essentially not just that household name, but that tattoo name, that taboo name, that name. You got that one girlfriend, WWE, In WCW, you got that one arm around that one girlfriend, but off at a distance, pretending like y'all don't know each other, is ECW and what New Jack is doing over there, and everything. This man was definitely a fucking trailblazer in his own right, causing so much controversy as well. The one thing that even I cannot deny about New Jack is when it came to charisma, when it came to getting on the microphone and spitting that hot game, nobody could fucking touch New Jack. Nobody could fucking New Jack. What you see is pretty much what you got. Anybody that was a collector of shoot interviews, I mean, you guys know that New Jack almost single-handedly had helped put some of those shoot interview companies. He pretty much helped feed them and their team and all that. He pretty much brought them to business and continued to help them thrive into what they ultimately came to be, right? I mean, there's definitely no denying that. If you were back in the day before everything really had exploded, with wrestlers doing their own thing on podcasts, sharing stories, on those podcasts and all that other shit. Go back to those shoot interview days, man. Those shoot interview days, that's where the real bread and butter, that's where the really cool hidden gems were back then and everything. And, New Jack, God, if you were back in that time period, if you were a shoot DVD company, you were thinking about getting into the industry, New Jack, he was among the first that you wanted to have on your list to, okay, I want to kick off my joint with this. This will definitely put some eyeballs on me, my company. This will definitely get me my sales. Shit, man, I can't tell you how many New Jack DVDs I must have checked out from over the years and everything. Crazy motherfucker. A crazy motherfucker. What all I've learned about him from over the years, having side conversations with some people in and out of the business. Dude knew how to party. Dude fucking knew how to party. He partied with the fucking best of them. Very loud, very bombastic, in a cool way. In a cool way. But he had such a commanding presence. What you and I saw of him as fans watching the TV sets, I mean, it was almost essentially what you got. One main theme I kept hearing, don't ever get on his bad side, because if you ever get on his bad side, he ain't gonna let you forget about it. And depending on how much you pissed him off, he may try to fucking hurt you. Like, he may try to fucking kill you, straight up. But the mass transit incident alone, talk about the controversy that came about with that particular incident. And that particular incident, I won't bore you guys with all the gory details and everything. I'm going to give you guys just the bullet points. And if it's enough to kind of whet your appetite a little bit as I'm putting all of this in a nice, pretty little package for you guys, definitely go out of your way, check out the Dark Side of the Ring episode, check out some shoots of his or whatever your cup of tea is. But the bullet points from that mass transit incident, so set this up properly. You got to rewind this back to 1996. This was not a pay-per-view or anything like that, okay? It was at the Wonderland Ballroom out in Massachusetts. And you had this 17-year-old kid that pretended to be 21 years old. He got his dad to pretty much hype him up, tell some bullshit lies, and say that not only was he 21, but that also he was trained by Killer Kowalski. And so he was saying all this fucking bullshit to pretty much get himself in through the door, try to work for Paul Heyman and ECW and all that. Now, this was supposed to be a tag team match. It was supposed to be, I can't remember all the participants, but I know New Jack and the Gangsters, they definitely were involved in this. Alex Rotten was originally supposed to work the match, but he couldn't make the show because he had some type of a family emergency and he was having traveling issues. So this young 17-year-old kid, he pretty much, I mean, just mad sweet talking Paul Heyman, really twisting his arm, hey, let me do it. Hey, I know how to do this type of stuff. I was trained by Killer, da 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 da. So Paul Heyman pretty much relented, went on ahead, gave the kid a spot in this match. He pretty much, okay, you're going to replace Axel Rotten in that match. So this kid was chatting it up with New Jack and told New Jack, hey, give me some color during the match because I've never gotten color before. And New Jack said to him, okay, are you sure you want to do that? I don't really think. And he kept insisting that, nah, give me color. I want color in our match. For you younger folks, color, basically, he wanted to bleed. He wanted New Jack to help him bleed, right? So a blade job, basically. That's what I mean by color. So, they go on, later on, they doing this thing and everything. And New Jack, man of his word, he pretty much blades this guy's forehead, multiple times and all that. And, well, he cut a little too deep because he hit a couple of arteries. And my man was just screaming real loud. I mean, it was really, really, really bad. New Jack knew something was kind of up, but wanted to stay true to his character. Didn't want to freaking have the crowds of people panic and all that. Did his best to stay in character and everything. Dude's dad was screaming, oh, he's 17 years old. He's just a kid. He's just a kid. Stop the damn match. Da, 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 da. New Jack playing it up. I don't like white people. I don't like people from Boston. He was shouting all kinds of crazy shit like that. So eventually medics, they come to the aid of this kid and everything. And unfortunately, this kid had succumbed to that blade job. Like I said earlier, New Jack cut a little too deep, hit a couple of arteries and everything. So that kid's family, they tried to sue Paul Heyman, ECW. They tried to sue New Jack and everything. Let's focus more on New Jack. When it was all said and done and it came to New Jack, there was, that lawsuit had came like 3 years after that incident. And he was tried. New Jack was on charges of assault and battery with a dangerous weapon and everything. And eventually the jury, they acquitted New Jack of all the charges from that criminal trial. And when it came to a civil trial, because the family tried to see if they could maybe civil trial, he was not found liable during the civil trial. You had performers from that event that testified on New Jack's behalf and everything, talking about how that kid was, very, very kind of condescending, very arrogant, trying to blow himself up to be something that he wasn't and everything. And, and what was just so damaging was the fact that this kid got his dad and somebody else to lie, say he was 21, and then lie about the whole, he's trained by Killer Kowalski. Never was trained by Killer Kowalski whatsoever. So there's a little bit of footage that's floating around online. If you guys want to maybe whet your appetites a little bit and, you want to try to see just a little bit, because that shit like never aired. Remember, it was a house show in Massachusetts, right? So, but if you browse around online, you can definitely come across just a little snippet of footage from all of that craziness when it went down and everything. So that was a interesting piece of history there where I got to tell you, it was actually kind of refreshing to hear New Jack, when he did Dark Side of the Ring from last season. It was definitely kind of cool from a retrospect perspective, hearing him go down that memory lane once again and putting that official mark on it and everything. I would be set on fire if I didn't mention this part about New Jack. And I definitely will admit that, You know, there's definitely one thing that rubbed me the wrong way. If there was just one thing that rubbed me the wrong way about New Jack, and this may upset some fans, but just hear me out. You know, respect where I'm coming from. I'll definitely respect where you're coming from. And if you want to have a nice little healthy dialogue, kind of debate about it, I'm more than willing to do that with you guys. But just hear me out for a second and really understand where I'm coming from. If there was just one negative thing I had to say about New Jack, I was consistent with this when he was alive. So don't think I'm, oh, now that he's passed, no, I was very adamant when he was alive, off and on over the years when I said this, and I'm still doubling down this very day. I wasn't particularly fond of the comments that he made with regards to Jerry Lawler. Now, just to rewind this back for you guys a little bit, 2012 was when Jerry Lawler had that heart attack. As many of you guys recall, you know, at that point, we were on the air for barely a year because we started doing the podcast in 2011. 2011 is when we started. So we barely had a year under our belt when Jerry Lawler had suffered that heart attack and everything. And the statement that New Jack made on Twitter, I remember in real time, I remember seeing New Jack trend, seeing Jerry Lawler trend. And, you know, for those of you that didn't have the Twitter going on back then, what New Jack had wrote was, and I quote, "Just heard about Lawler, fuck that racist motherfucker, die slow, you fucking cocksucker. If Lawler dies, let me know where his grave is so I can piss on it. Fuck that bitch. Please let me know where they put that fucker in the ground so I can piss on his grave." Now, before anybody jumps down my throat, I got no problem with any of the stuff that New Jack has said. I got no problem with that whatsoever. Where I have a little bit of issue is the fact that, god damn, this motherfucker's in Jerry Lawler is fighting for his fucking life, and you say this, you know, there are a lot of fans that, you know, appreciate the contributions he's made to the business and everything. For some of these people, you know, he provided in part the soundtrack to some of their, you know, coolest moments as a wrestling fan. And you say this, you know, what's the old saying? If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say nothing at all. Just, you know, keep it moving along or whatever. Well, we know New Jack isn't one of those type of people. New Jack is going to speak his fucking mind. And I just remember seeing him just combat all the hate, all the that was coming his way that night. And he did not give a fuck. His whole thing was, you're following me. You don't like what I'm saying? Get the fuck off my dick. Stop following me. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to change who I am. Blah, 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 blah. Now, I will tell you something. I'll let you in on a little bit of a secret. In case you all didn't know, I didn't particularly care for Jerry Lawler. Now, when he had the heart attack, and, you know, I was sad, especially just watching the show live and then seeing Michael Cole and just, whoa. You know, it was like, whoa, are you serious? You know, one of those type of deals. But remember, at that point, I only had about a year under my belt as a podcaster, aspiring journalist and all that. Aspiring member of the media and all that. It actually, from that point, took me some years to, oh, so this is what's been going on with Jerry Lawler. Oh, so this is what's up with Jerry Lawler. Oh, that Jerry Lawler is, woo, that's one spicy ass dude, that fucking Jerry Lawler. Now, you know, in case some of you guys don't know, and I want to be consistent here, long-time listeners can definitely back me up on this. I had said probably within the last 6 months in regards to Jerry Lawler, I said, And if I'm lying, you can call me out on it right now. But I said this within the last 6 months. Again, longtime listeners, they'll remember this line I'm getting ready to drop. I said, man, if I knew about Jerry Lawler way back when I first began my show, and then ultimately when I went to AwesomeCon, and my girl wanted to take a picture with Jerry Lawler, I would have said hell no, and we would have kept it moving along. Longtime listeners will also recall that when I did that whole thing with Jerry Lawler, yeah, he came off pleasant and everything like that, but he came off kind of awkward. And what do I mean by kind of awkward? I'll give it to you guys right between the eyes what I mean by quite awkward. He kind of gave us this look, kind of like, okay, I can't believe that this white woman is betraying her race and she is with this jigaboo. That's how it kind of came off. Bullshit you not, that's how it came off. Now, you know what? They say people can change and, look, I don't know. I can only tell you how uncomfortable I kind of felt. Especially when I was trying to put on a smile and all that other shit. So you think about some of the racist comments that Jerry Lawler has made over the years, especially on commentating. You think about the fact that he had that one case where he was indicted on sodomizing and raping a 15-year-old girl, but it was later that girl, retracted her statement because there was a bunch of inconclusive evidence. Apparently there were elements of her story that weren't quite matching up. However, the two parties had settled out of court. And normally when you do some type of a settlement, usually there's something there. There's enough substantial evidence that you understand what I'm saying? So then, of course, Jerry Lawler being abusive to his partners. There's a whole lot of shit there on Jerry Lawler. So trust me when I say I got no problem with what New Jack had to say about Jerry Lawler. Trust me, I'm right there going, I didn't know back then. Because remember, barely a year into my podcasting career, so I didn't do the extensive research like I do now, right? Two completely different people. But when that went down initially, my whole thing was, dude, the man just died. He almost died. He kind of did die, didn't he? But he came back. It's like, dude, the man just had a heart attack. He's kind of fighting for his life. Like, we don't need you saying this right now. Just that was the one thing that just kind of made me go in regards to New Jack. And to his credit, to a certain degree, he tried to explain where he was coming from. When he made those type of comments. He said this, a couple of years after the fact, reading a direct quote right here. You know what? Let me tell you something. This is the honest to God's truth. When I saw that Jerry Lawler had a heart attack, I was sitting at home looking at the ID channel. And I saw someone post something on my Facebook about Lawler. And I was watching ID. And I was on my tablet and I said, let me see how much shit I can start. I said, I heard what happened to Lawler. Fuck him. I ain't like him anyway. Everybody went, they just started dropping bombs after bombs. New Jack, I hate you. Oh, damn. I had like 100 comments with people like, I don't like you no more, you fucker. The ones I didn't delete, they deleted themselves. I just did it and I thought I was just being funny and they got all that shit started up. Then I talked to Chris Cash and he said, hey, I heard you got some heat out there. You don't like Lawler? I said, honestly, I believe Lawler is a racist. He don't like black people, and I know it. I worked with him. That kind of confirmed how I felt. Going back to what I just said, that kind of confirmed how I felt when I met him in the flesh at AwesomeCon. It was a weird feeling. It really, really was. It's interesting because, going back to that particular day and Tams is up right now. And she will fucking tell you. She saw Jerry Lawler first. He actually was walking around, and he was walking kind of past the food court a little bit at AwesomeCon. She's like, "Hey, hun, isn't that Jerry Lawler? Isn't that Jerry Lawler?" And I looked and I said, yeah, that's Jerry Lawler. Why don't we go say hello? And I said, nah, I'm good. And she's like, are you okay? What's wrong with you? I said, nothing. I just don't particularly care for Jerry Lawler. And she's like, well, that's a first. I'm like, no, it's like I never was really a fan of his work, as far as a color commentator goes. In-ring competitor-wise, he had his moments here and there, but, I was like, I'm good. And a little bit later on, we go to the Artist Alley, Artist Alley. I don't know what you guys are calling it at the con events, but Artist Alley, you just pretty much go to the tables of, independent artists and all that, and check out what artwork they have for sale, all that good shit. So we're doing our thing. And she sees Jerry Lawler is sitting at his table with this young woman. I think that's his current wife. And she's like, "Oh, there's Jerry Lawler." And I'm like, okay. And she's like, "Come on, let's go over there and let's chat with him for a couple of minutes." And I'm like, "Nah, I'm okay." And she's like, no, come on. She's like, why you gotta be like that? I'm like, I'll just look over here and, you go over there and, if you want to meet him and all that. I don't know. I think with her, she just has a thing for celebrities from the South. She's a big fan of Elvis. She likes Dolly Parton, Conway Twitty, Brooks and Dunn, Garth Brooks. So, Jerry Lawler, she kind of knew a little something about him growing up and all that. So for her, it's kind of like she's meeting a star, if you will. So she went on over there to the table and everything and was checking out his artwork. Then, of course, I'm still minding my own business. I don't want to go over there. Right in front of Jerry Lawler, she goes, "Babe, come check out this artwork." I'm going, fuck. It's like I already know about Jerry's portfolio. I'm like, fuck. So I go over there. And she's showing me his artwork. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's, and she decides, let's do a photo op. Let's do a photo op with Jerry Lawler. Because he had it set up where, if you wanted some of his artwork, he had the prices for those. If you just wanted a photo op with him, you could do that. And he was charging for that. So we did the photo op. And it was actually his woman that was like, because originally I actually stayed out of the picture. No bullshit. Originally I stayed out of the picture. But his woman was like, why don't you get in there? She's like, y'all together, right? I'm like, yeah. And she was like, why don't you get in there and get in the picture? I'm like, oh, okay. So there's like this awkward smile that's on my face. I'm trying to like put on the front and everything. Like I'm so fucking excited. And you could just tell, it's kind of one of those, it's kind of one of those. But yeah, I just kind of picked up weird douche racist. I couldn't quite put my finger on it. And then it wasn't until like I really started researching on some of these people I happened to talk about and everything, that it was like, oh shit, like no wonder I guarantee if I were to put the missus on the phone right now, she will, you know what, just to kind of lighten the mood up a little bit and everything, let's actually call the missus real quick. Let's just get her on the phone real quick. Let's put her on the mixer. Let's connect her real quick. Let's see if we can get her. There we go. Come on. We should be able to get her because she's still moving around the house. Let's see if we can get her. Let's see here. Come on. She ain't picking up. Let's try one more time. But that's a true story. It don't get no realer It don't get no realer than that. So let's see if she picks up. Come on, pick up. Pick up. Pick up, pick up. Pick up the phone. I hear you moving around. one more. I give her one more time. Let's see here. I don't know. The one time she doesn't have her phone near her. Like, she's always linked to her fucking phone. Always. I'm just gonna say to her, call me real quick. All right. So, you know, no problem with what New Jack has said, just the timing of it. That was all. When it's all said and done, just the fucking timing of it. By the way, New Jack had continued on in the same interview with regards to Lawler. And he said, but I did it mainly because I knew I was going to stir up a lot of shit. And I kept jabbing at him. Every time I would say something, then all these boys on the indie circuit, they came at me. But they wouldn't come to me in person. They would come to me on the internet. New Jack, you ain't shit. I was like, man, these motherfuckers are really mad about me talking about this motherfucker. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Lawler did get in trouble for having sex with a 14-year-old girl, and he bought his way out of that. Now, if I said something that isn't right, I'll say, aight, and I'll take it. But what I said was fucking right. So people got to say, if he was telling the truth, then so what? I wasn't mad at Lawler. I thought it was funny to do it. It stirred up a lot of shit, but I could care less. It ain't like I don't like him. I know him, but I believe he's a racist little fuck. I did it because I thought it was funny. I didn't say it because, oh, I hate Jerry Lawler. Man, I ain't think about that shit twice. So that's pretty much, you know. But that sums up New Jack. Like, give two shits not, you know. He's just always one of those type of guys will speak his mind, does not fucking hold back, will tell it how it fucking is. And is pretty consistent depending on the topic, is very consistent. You know, what you ask of him from 5 years ago is pretty much going to be, because, you know, sometimes when you get some of these wrestlers and you get them for interviews, shoot stuff and all that, shit changes, does it not? I mean, it changes. All of a sudden, there's like this whole new other element that gets thrown into the mix. And, you know, what started off at, there I was looking right at him and he had a revolver in his hand. And then 10 years later, my man got 3 fucking guns at him, you know, and apparently there's a person with grenades. And you're like, wait a minute, this is, you know, I think the greatest example of somebody that kept changing their story drastically was fucking Tammy Sitch, fucking Sonny. Once again, having fucking legal problems, man. But definitely, once again, to the fans out there, to colleagues, family members of New Jack, his peers, definitely my thoughts, my condolences are with you guys. I can't wait to hear, certain shows such as Jason Solomon. I know he's probably going to go about at least almost 50 minutes talking about New Jack. I particularly am looking forward to hearing what my friend and colleague Don Tony has to say, because he has so many New Jack stories. He worked with New Jack quite a bit in the XPW days and everything. So I'm looking forward to hearing what they all have to say at great length about New Jack. I would imagine to a certain degree they're gonna kind of be doing a New Jack tribute show, if you will, or at least dedicate a good. Oh, hey, here we go. Hey, hun.
Yeah.
I gotta pick your brain, right? I was telling them the story about Jerry Lawler and how I was apprehensive about meeting him at Awesome Con. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Do you remember how you first saw Jerry Lawler?
Yeah.
Tell the story.
So basically, I think I was off and doing my own thing and just kind of meandering around. No, actually, we first saw him towards the bathrooms, and I was like, "Oh, that's Jerry Lawler."
By the bathrooms,
yeah,
a little bit past
right.
the food court.
That's him.
A little bit past the food court.
Right. And it's like, yeah, that's him. And I was like, okay. I was like, yeah, you should. And you were like, no, we're not going to bother him, so on and so forth. I'm like, okay. So then later on, we were, kind of going and making our rounds in reference to, what was there.
Artist Alley.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And I think I kind of wandered off a little bit and then went over to some of the tables. I was like, oh, that's Jerry Lawler. Mm-hmm. And I think he was either on the phone or talking with another person. Actually, no, he was talking with another person. That's what it was, because they were praising him and, oh, we love your work and, you're so great and all of that. Mm-hmm. And I was looking at the artwork and it was like, wow, this is impressive. And it was one of his assistants or another artist, or I don't exactly know who he was. And we were chatting, and it was like, oh, okay, well, wow, that's great. And so then later on, when I went back to where you were, and I said, hey, I went and checked out Jerry Lawler's table, and he's got some really cool, drawings. And be honest, I wanted you to see them.
Right, and be honest, how was I when you brought that up?
Pretty much is like, yeah, I know he's a great artist, and that's kind of good. But
I just told him that. Yep, keep going.
Yeah, and it was just like, yeah, but it was more of the, yeah, that's great, but I'm not really interested. Pretty much is how you came off and how you acted with that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I assume I kept pressing the issue, and it was like, oh, but you should meet him, and, somebody you've seen on TV, and I think you finally were just like, fine, let me get her to shut up, so let's go over
there. Do you remember who took the picture?
It might have been the same guy that I was talking to in reference to the drawing.
See, I remember it differently. See, you're forgetting a person. The guy you're thinking about, that was the Headlocks comic guy, because he's at all the fucking conventions.
Oh, okay.
So, the person that took our picture was Jerry Lawler's woman.
Oh, that's right.
And now here's a key detail. I'd already told the listeners this, but let's see if you remember. When it came to the photograph, two things happened in regards to the photograph. Can you remember the very first one?
While we were in the photograph?
Leading up to the photograph, something happened initially in the photograph being taken.
It was just going to be me and him?
Yes! What did I tell you guys? Yes. And now, do you remember who said, hey, aren't you all together? Well, why don't you get in the picture too? Do you remember who said that?
Maybe his woman? I don't know.
It was the same woman. It was the woman.
Yeah. And then you were like, okay.
Now, after the picture was taken, what do you remember after?
Your comments.
No. Before that.
Oh.
Like 1, 2,
no,
1, 2, 3.
Don't.
Poof. Picture is taken. What
remember that?
You don't. Okay.
Mm-mm.
The odd look that Jerry Lawler gave you and I after the picture was taken.
I guess I blocked it out. I do remember you saying something about it now.
All right. What'd I tell you guys? She's got a really good memory as well. Now, I was just telling them how, I understood New Jack's comments the timing was off, but you know, I totally get where he was coming from. And I was telling them how, you know, back then, you know, when we went to see Jerry Lawler at AwesomeCon, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, back then I didn't know about the shit that Jerry Lawler was involved in.
No, I don't think so.
No.
I think you knew about some of it, but you knew about underage girls.
Really? I don't ever remember talking about that.
Yeah, I remember talking about it because I remember you saying something. And basically, you said not too long after the photo was taken,
Mm-hmm.
he was like, oh, yeah, you're too old for him. He likes that jailbait.
Oh, that's right. I did say that. Holy shit. So you know what? Maybe that's why I wasn't interested in taking a picture with him back then.
I think so.
Okay, and this was more about pleasing you because, as I told the listeners, you got a thing for those Southern celebrities, you know, and you were kind of, ooh, it's Jerry Lawler, you know.
Yeah, no, actually, it was more of like, it's Jerry Lawler is thinking, oh, okay, well, you've seen him on TV, and you know, hey, get the information, get the, for the product, and so on and so forth. I mean, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, I just have to meet him, but it was just, okay, well, get the full experience because you're at Oscar.
Okay, so you were mainly thinking about, hey, this would be great for the brand.
Right.
Okay, you were strictly, okay. It wasn't about being.
Yeah.
It was never.
No.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, he seemed like an all right guy, but that was just, that was the extent of it.
Right. Okay. I can't believe I forgot about that whole. Yeah, I did say that to you too.
Mm-hmm.
I did say you're.
A couple times.
Yeah. It's coming back to me now. Yep. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
See, guys, what I tell you. I told you guys, like, if I'm telling you something, it's 100% true, and usually a friend or the missus can back me up without no rehearsal, nothing like that. She's in a completely different other room. This wasn't rehearsed in any type of way. It's exactly how it was fucking laid out. So when I tell you guys I had got just a weird vibe from Lawler, I really mean that. So again, I'm not, and I think,
yeah, because if I remember correctly, you flat out, you said after the picture was taken, you basically said I didn't like the way he was looking at you.
Yeah, because like I told the listeners, because it kind of seemed like, what the fuck are you doing with this jigaboo?
Oh, damn.
That's how it came off to me.
Mm-mm.
That's how it came off to me.
Lord.
Yeah. All right. All right, let me continue on here.
Right.
And I'll see you in a little bit.
All right.
Say goodbye to everybody.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Love you, hon. See what I tell you guys. But yeah. Man, I can't believe like 54 minutes already shot by. All right, let's liven up the mood a little bit more. Let's talk SmackDown. Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's talk a little bit about SmackDown here. We're also going to talk about the NXT AEW ratings breakdown. Saw how they did in their respected segments, so I definitely want to spend some time talking about that as well. So let's go ahead. Let's jump right into it. So SmackDown tonight. Not bad for a go-home edition, because they got that pay-per-view that's going to be coming up this weekend. Managed to take a picture of just some of the stuff that had happened tonight. So in our opener, as you guys can see right here, we had the tribal chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns, having it out with Jimmy and Jey Uso, not really feeling what was going on with Jimmy Uso from last week and everything. Roman Reigns trying to clean house. Jey Uso saying to his brother, hey man, look, you can't be disrespecting Roman like that, man. He's our people, man. Come on, man. He's fam, and oh man, that was nice. That was nice, good back and forth there between Jimmy and Jimmy trying to remind Jay, nah, man, fuck this dude. You remember when it counted the most? Pretty much a little bit of a rehash from what had went down last week and everything. And we saw eventually Cesaro comes out. Remember, he's got that title shot that's going to be going down with Roman this Sunday and everything. Everything basically was a nice little setup for Jimmy saying, look, I can do what Roman couldn't do and maybe what you couldn't even do, Uso, and that's defeat Cesaro. So we basically saw for the main event match, Jimmy Uso taking on Cesaro. And this was the first singles match that Jimmy Uso has had, in about 14 months, give or take, because that's how long he's been out of action and everything. That actually was, for what it was worth too, by the way, that actually was a pretty good main event match. By the way, I see that we got something going on with regards to our Twitch audience. It looks like we had lost the Twitch feed. Bear with me one quick second here and let me try to see if I can figure out what's going on. That's weird. I'm not seeing anything as far as a low signal. Stream quality is excellent right now. Hang on here. Yeah, stream quality is excellent right now. I'm not seeing anything weird that's going on. If you guys are noticing any lag or anything weird going on, let me know, and I'll do my best to try to make some adjustments off the fly. Hopefully we can get our Twitch audience back up. If not, let me look here. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can do something. I'm going to try to see if I can, off the fly, I'm going to try to see if I can get the Twitch audience back here. All right, sending data, and that should do the trick. Let me see here. That should do the trick. Yeah. So I don't know what's going on, guys, but apologies to our Twitch audience. Hopefully they got enough common sense to hop on board the other feeds and watch the show that way. So sorry about that. All right, let's continue on. Now, let's keep rocking and rolling. So yeah, that was actually a pretty good main event match between Jimmy Uso and Cesaro, for what it was worth. I enjoyed it. I fucking enjoyed it. Jimmy went into that bad boy looking pretty strong, looking like he ain't missed a step. And if you were ask me straight up, just of the two between Jimmy and Jay, I don't know, man. I'm really liking still the trajectory of Jey Uso, but Jimmy kind of seems like he's got a little bit more of that grit in him. You know what I'm talking about? He seems like he's got more of that. Seems like he's got more of that. Nah, I think I said it perfectly. Grit. I think that's the best way I could sum it up. He's got that fucking grit. Cesaro actually ended up winning via disqualification, as Cesaro came in with that nice, pretty running uppercut of his, and all the guys, they were pretty much fighting outside the ring and everything, but Roman came out of nowhere, jumped Cesaro, and that's pretty much how we got our disqualification. You can kind of make the argument that the way this match was booked, that once again it actually kind of hurt Cesaro a little bit. You could maybe kind of make the argument that it kind of hurt Jimmy Uso in his return a little bit here, because why did you have to have all these multi-layers that was going on here? You understand what I'm saying? Like, why did you have to have all this going on when you should have just had it be between these two guys in the ring? And you just can't help but say to yourself, wow, what kind of a story would that have been if somehow in an upset Jimmy Uso, forgive me there, guys. How awesome would it have been if Jimmy Uso would have somehow been able to pull an upset over Cesaro, and then with that kind of cloud, but then, that's the, why I wish we could go in this direction. But we know that when it comes to the actual booking, we're not gonna. Can we be honest? Full transparency, right? Well, it may seem, but now that you're looking at that, you could still also kind of say to yourself, well, why couldn't Cesaro just cleanly pick up a dub going strong into the pay-per-view? Two things could be true. I definitely agree with that. But it was a good match. For what it was worth, it was all right, but not quite the finish I was looking forward to. Be perfectly honest with you guys. We got some more action on SmackDown tonight. It was our first matchup of the evening, as we got new WWE Women's Tag Champions in Natty and Tamina. They dethroned Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. I'm very happy that the WWE bookers, I'm happy that they went on ahead and pulled the trigger here. My only thing, my only concern, I just can't help but really, really wonder this. So close to the pay-per-view, right? This is where I'm a little bit rattled here. Why not pull the trigger at the pay-per-view? You're 48 hours away. Why not let it go down at the pay-per-view? I just don't quite understand that. That's where I'm a little bit, very weird. Very weird that we did this on SmackDown. I don't know if it was maybe WWE's way of trying to please Fox a little bit. I don't know if maybe the Fox executives been looking at the ratings. I think the ratings have been relatively solid for Friday Night SmackDown on Fox. I think it's been pretty steady. It's been pretty consistent, pretty good. But maybe WWE got a little something from the Fox execs. Who knows? Or this was just maybe always the plan. Your guess is as good as mine, guys, but I think we all could be in agreement, man. It would kind of make a little bit more sense if you're going to do this. Why not just wait the 48 hours and let it go down officially at the pay-per-view? But it went down tonight. Now, look, I hope that if anything, in some form, we get to see these girls defend the titles this weekend. I mean, whether it's a case of Shayna, Nia, they want a rematch, and it's granted, whether it's on the pre-show or it makes the actual card, I'm kind of hoping that maybe we'll get to see them go at it this weekend. Because, and matter of fact, and we'll talk about it a little bit more when we get ready to go into the WrestleMania Backlash card, because I actually still don't know the full card just yet, but I do have the card ready to look at when we get ready to talk about preview and predictions and everything. But I'm happy mainly for Tamina. I mean, look, I've always had a soft spot for Natty. I will continue to have a soft spot for Natty. And it's interesting because we kind of got to that period there with regards to Natalya. I was starting to feel, okay, we're getting too much Natty. Natty just needs to be off our TV for a couple of months. Maybe she can go help produce a WWE movie or something, go star in a movie or something. And somehow just the timing of going over to SmackDown, everything just kind of seemed to help her a little bit, kind of freshened her up just a tad bit. So, Natty, we pretty much know what we're going to be getting from Natty and everything. And this was for me more about Tamina. I really felt that Tamina had all the capabilities in the world. Just one of the number one enemies for her was just staying healthy long enough to get to that finish line and everything. So I'm really happy that Tamina has been able to continue to stay healthy thus far. And she's now in this position where, okay, we're going to give you an opportunity, run with it and everything. I got to tell you, if it was a case where the pandemic was just as bad as it was last year, particularly those first 6 months in 2021, then just imagine that no fans still in attendance and everything. I truly believe that if you did not have those fans in attendance at WrestleMania, I really believe in my heart of hearts that reaction, that strong positive reaction that Tamina got from the fans WrestleMania weekend, I believe that really had, I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if you were to tell me, especially if there was a report that would maybe come out couple of days later trying to explain the title change that went down tonight on Smackdown. I would not be surprised if something along the lines of management bookers were just so taken back pleasantly by the reaction Tamina received at Mania that it definitely made them go back to the drawing board, kind of try to reshuffle some things, and that's pretty much how we got to where we are right now and everything. But I'm very happy for Tamina. I've always felt that overall she was a solid performer. Yet my biggest gripe with Tamina was just always, can we see a little bit more personality get flushed out and everything? Man, that emotional promo she had cut on Talking Smack a couple of weeks ago and all, I mean, that's the shit that I knew this woman was capable of the entire time. It was just all about her finding her footing, getting comfortable, really, you can tell somebody till you're blue in the face, this is what you need to work on. You can fucking tell somebody, look, the keys to success, this is all you got to do. But unless that person is willing, ready, and able to fully throw themselves into the mix and make that investment, go all the way, not just half-ass it, but actually go all the way. You feel where I'm coming from? So it's nice to see that Tamina finally just, okay, I'm going all the way in on this one. So I'm really, really happy for her, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to be able to do as the women's tag champions. I've been on this show off and on a couple of weeks now saying to you guys with regards to Nia, Shayna, that experiment worked itself out. It's over and done with. We just need to be, we need to be done with it already. And I'm glad that that's over. I legitimately am, because for me, y'all already know how I feel about Shayna Baszler, so I don't want to bore you guys to death with that. Y'all already know how I feel about that, how I feel about that girl and everything. Which reminds me, I got a really cool kick-ass picture of her when she was the NXT Women's Champion that's in a box with other pictures. Matter of fact, I got a signed Mark Henry. I got a signed, what else I got? I got a signed Shayna Baszler. I got a signed Brock Lesnar. Who else? I think I got something of Booker T's. I got a whole bunch of shit. That I still have not put up on the wall yet. But the Shayna Baszler one is definitely something I want to put it up on the wall already. So hopefully I'll get around to doing that. Probably this weekend, actually, since I'll have a little bit of free time on my hands. I do see what you guys are saying in the chat, by the way. I'll try to figure out how I can work it in there, because it kind of has to be on point with what I'm talking about right now. So for example, with what Steven just said about Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, and seeing the new tag teams, he said, I'm glad. Actually, let me clean that up for you a little bit, Steven. Don't worry, it happens to the best of us, man. I'm so glad the tag team championship of Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Huh? Wait a minute, Steven, man, you really are all over the place on this one. I'm gonna read it just how it sounds, and we'll try to decipher what he's trying to say. And we're not making fun of how you're writing, Steven. I'm just trying to understand what you're trying to say here. I'm glad the tag team championship of Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. I do not want to see no rematch. Okay, you don't want to see a rematch for that particular title or titles. Okay, gotcha. I think what Steven is trying to say is he's so glad that the tag team championship reign of Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler ended. He's happy that there's new tag champions. He doesn't want to see a rematch. I'm sure a lot of people probably feel the same way to a certain degree. Like for me personally, I'm happy. I'm fucking happy because what I want to see is the Beast Beast Shayna Baszler. I want to see that badass MMA, excuse my French. I want to see that baddest bitch come back and see her wreak havoc and all that other shit. That's what I want to fucking see. So, quick sidebar, cause I'm noticing this. Now that's actually of great importance. I see Noe just said he really needed this today. You mean in the show? Cause he's had a hard day cause his uncle passed away today. So seeing this show right now is putting a smile on his face. Well, you know what, Noe, I'm happy that we're able to, for a brief little period of time, take your mind off of something like that. We all deal with tragedies. Hell, some of us got some fucked up shit going on at home and everything. We need that escape, right? We need that escape from reality for just a little bit of time, whether it's playing video games, checking out a podcast, reading a book, talking to a friend, hanging out with friends. We kind of need that, right now. So we need that crutch. So I'm happy that, we can be here for you while you're taking your mind off it. I'm definitely sorry to hear about your loss. Definitely my thoughts and prayers are with you and your family and everything. And, the fact that you said what you said, obviously your uncle meant a lot to you. It doesn't get easy. It doesn't. You're talking to somebody that lost their uncle in a drive-by shooting back in 1991. And I was 10 going on 11. And my uncle always made time to hang out with me. I didn't have any friends in the neighborhood. None that I related to. My uncle Marvin, he was always try to do something with me. Play basketball, go bike riding, go jogging, play the arcades. He was always. Even towards the end of his life, when he kind of got caught up in the drug game and he was also using, all right? So he would still try to make time. He had good intentions. He would still try to make time to, hang out with me and do cool stuff and everything. And all these years later, I just told you I was 10 going on 11. I'm now 40. There's probably not a day that goes by I still don't think about my uncle, so I'm not gonna, tell you like some people, it gets easier in time, and no, it doesn't. You always remember, but what kind of keeps you going is the positive memories, the good times that you had with them. You pretty much hold on to that, and you go with the notion that hopefully whatever pain, suffering they were going through, that if there truly is an afterlife, that they're in euphoria now and they're relieved of all that pain, that suffering, that struggle. They're relieved of all of that now. So, but it doesn't get easier. I wish people would stop saying that when somebody, it doesn't. My ex-wife who I cherish dearly as a friend. She got along with, not just, it was interesting because we were better friends than as a married couple. That's weird, right? But that's happened. Some relationships you find that, we're not exactly compatible, but we're pretty solid as friends. We were better friends than lovers. And she was pretty much part of my circle of friends, when me and Tams got together and everything. Tams will tell you, there were times where if Jess was in a bind, like she needed a couple of dollars or whatever, me and Tams would help her out. We would do what we could and everything. And she was a good friend. I lost that friend so suddenly some years back. And I'm still rock to my core this very day. It doesn't get easy. It's just somehow you just string it one day at a time. You hold on to those good memories, and then next thing you know, it's like in the instance of when my ex passed. I think it's been now, it feels like maybe 5 years, if not 4 years, 5 years now. So yeah, but I'm happy we're here for you, man. Anything we can do to put a smile on your face and all that good stuff, man. Happy to be here for you. Let's continue to talk about Smackdown there. And I'm curious, by the way, if we had got our audience from Twitch back. Let me just see what's going. Yeah, our Twitch audience is back. So shout out to our Twitch audience. We see that you guys were disconnected for a hot second. Wasn't me. Cue that Shaggy song. Wasn't me. I don't know what was going on, but it wasn't me. Obviously Twitch was having its own little agenda over there, man. So sorry about that. But I'm glad you guys are back. A little bit more action that happened from SmackDown tonight. Check this out. Did you guys see this on SmackDown? Did you guys see this? We had Apollo Crews that was with his boy Aziz. Is that his actual name, by the way? Aziz? I mean, that's like the funniest shit I've ever heard. Aziz. Hey, what's going on with you? I got the Aziz. What's that? Well, I eat too much food, so I got Aziz. But no, Apollo Crews was out here, and he basically was recognizing the work of Aziz and was trying to present him with a medal. Trying to give him a little Kurt Angle piece of jewelry there. And we saw everybody and their mama come out on this one. Big E, he was talking a hot game via the Titantron, promising how Aziz and Apollo would feel his power. Then you had Sami Zayn come out there, who's laying claim that it should actually be he that should still be holding on to that Intercontinental Championship. Who else came out? Kevin Owens came out, and there was just this big old clusterfuck Benny Hill type of thing. Let me remove this image for you guys there. Big old clusterfuck thing that was going on. Then we had a commercial break, and I don't know how they explained all those guys just disappearing after they came back from a commercial break. Your guess is as good as mine, guys. I don't know how they explain that, but yeah. Rey Mysterio, or as William Shatner likes to say it, Rey Mysterioso, was in action against Dolph Ziggler. Okay matchup. It was actually a okay matchup. I didn't really mind it too much. Can I be honest? I was kind of disinterested. It's like, Ray. Look, will I be excited when Rey Mysterio and Son win the tag team titles? I don't know, y'all. I've just kind of gotten to a point right now where when it comes to the tag team division, at least on the SmackDown side of things, I'm a bit numb. And maybe that's because I'm not really a fan right now of Ziggler, Rude being the ones that the Mysterios are chasing after to become the tag champions. I will say this, though. Ziggler and Mysterio had pretty good chemistry in this match from what I had saw. They really did try to go in here and put on an entertaining match. I will give it up to them. They try to do a little something. I did enjoy it for the most part, for what it was worth. I did enjoy it. Another highlight from SmackDown tonight, this bad boy right here. Bianca Belair, Bayley, having their final little verbal throwdown before this Sunday. Belair feels that she finally is starting to scratch the surface of why Bayley is coming at her the way that she is, and pretty much cue up my favorite song from the Gem Blossoms, Hey Jealousy. So, Belair, very quick to point out, let's be honest, the only highlight that Bayley, had from WrestleMania weekend was the Bella Twins kicking your ass all over the arena. Bayley trying to do her own little shot at Belair. Your silly little hair in a ponytail, all bouncing around, full of energy. You remind me so much of what I used to be. You know, I'm just not. I'm sure the match is gonna be, but there's just something about. Maybe it's the writing. Yeah, maybe it's the writing that I'm a little bit sour on, but I'm not as interested in this feud as I was when it came to Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. And I mean, not for nothing. Sasha Banks, Belair could have been 10 times better. It could have been 10 times better. I'm talking about the storyline of the feud, just the way it was all put together. That could have been much stronger than what the end result was. And I just feel that with regards to Bayley and Bianca, it's falling in those same little cracks as the joint with Sasha. I think what this really should have been about is a couple of things. Bayley to Bianca, number one, you're talking to one of the longest reigning SmackDown Women's Champions of all time. Your fairy tale ride that you've been on thus far since winning the Royal Rumble, going on to WrestleMania. Yeah, it's a nice little Cinderella story, but coming up at WrestleMania Backlash, reality is really gonna settle in. And once that 1, 2, 3, I was going to say the F word. Yeah, I caught myself in the nick of time. But when that bell rings after the 1, 2, 3, that's when your fairy tale ending is over and you got to wake up to reality. You're going to go back to the rags. You're going to go back to from rags to riches. Well, in this case, you're going to go back to from riches to rags. And I'm going to go back to taking my rightful place as the longest reigning, blah, 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 prove my dominance yet again. Something else that could have been worked into the mix, point number 2, something else that could have been worked into the mix that Bayley could have, and you saw the tease tonight, but I think it really should have been played up all along, which is, you got your nice little long hair, nice little bubbly personality. I see your little PSA ads that you're doing and everything. Yeah, the fans, they like you right now and everything. But when you're at your lowest point in your career, when you're at the lowest of lows and you don't have anybody on your side and the fans aren't even there, that's when you're going to learn the hard way. And, I could almost kind of see Bayley kind of, they'll do to you what they ultimately did to me, kind of one of those type of deals. They could have really just expanded upon just all of that a lot more to make this particular rivalry more interesting, give it that more sizzle and all that. But and put some more meat on that bone, but they just, it is what it is. Oh my God, did I take that image off, by the way? Yes, I did. Okay, good. Third matchup, Nakamura taking on King Corbin. Yeah. That's all I gotta say. I ain't gonna say no more. What's that shit about Nakamura putting on the crown afterwards? All right, so I guess he's now King Nakamura, or is he King Shinsuke? Like, what the fuck is going on there with the crown? You know, I mean, he put that crown on like, I have the power. I mean, he literally was treating that crown like that. Yeah. Your guess is as good as mine on that one. Man, I can't believe we already talked about the matches. Wow, it's hard to believe, but we only have 4 matches. Let me just make sure, because I took notes as I was watching this show tonight. Yeah, guys, only 4 matches for Smackdown, believe it or not. Only 4 matches. WWE continuing the trend of lackluster go-home shows yet again. Enjoyed the stuff with the Roman Reigns family. You know, I enjoyed that, though. I'm waiting to see that next phase in the Roman Reigns story arc where, I'm curious how the missus, what she makes of Roman Reigns doing what he's doing as head of the table. Like, are we maybe going to get to that point where his own wife tries to ground him a little bit more, try to bring him back down to reality here? Because it seems like so far everything has been on deaf ears when it comes to the likes of Jimmy Uso. At one point, Jey Uso tried to reason with, and everything fell on deaf ears. So I can't help but wonder who's maybe going to be that person that's going to, that's going to give Roman Reigns that code-crushing reality check. Can't help but wonder about that one. Let's see. Trying to think if there's anything else that was kind of noteworthy here. No, I think I pretty much got the gist of it. But yeah, the Bayley Bianca Belair, it just feels like it's missing a lot of substance. You guys know what I mean? I mean, it's empty calories right now. You're biting into that cake. The presentation wise, the cake looks awesome. Sorry for the food analogy and for making you guys hungry in advance, but you're looking at that great piece of cake. Just close your eyes. Whatever flavor you like of your cake, icing and all that, just close your eyes, open your eyes. There's that cake. Presentation, it's pretty. You take that knife, you got your milk, water, whatever, you're ready to go at it. Take that fork and you just, so moist, you just, you put it in your mouth. There's no taste. There's no substance. You don't feel it doing its thing on your tongue and your mouth. It just nothing. Doesn't put any weight on you. It ain't got no calorie. Nothing. That's what's going on with Bayley Bianca Belair. On the one hand, I'm happy that we got this feud going on between Bayley and Bianca, because I kind of feel as though, well, if anybody can perhaps take Bianca to that next level, see, from a in-ring standpoint, as far as I've arrived, that was Sasha. Sasha did her job in taking Bianca to that proper finish line. But now we got this next finish line where, okay, from a character development standpoint, can Bayley, essentially one of the baddest, coolest fucking heels that's out there, can she maybe kind of take Bianca to that next level as a in-ring character and everything? And that's where I feel things are just so right now. I really feel as though Bianca should have been a heel. Bianca really, really, really should have been a heel from her time in NXT. I don't understand why the flip. I really don't understand why the flip. But she just worked so much better as a heel, honestly. So, but that's SmackDown for you guys. Hey, if y'all been enjoying the show so far and you want to represent, I'll tell you what you can do. Helps out tremendously. Make sure you hit that like button. Click on that subscribe. Click on that bell notification. But that like particularly, definitely smash that like, because that pretty much lets YouTube know you enjoyed the content. Helps them out as far as recommending, pushing content to newer viewers to check out. By the way, I also saw we had picked up a couple of subscribers since during the show. Today, a couple of days this week. Welcome to those of you that are on board. Hope you guys enjoy the content. Can I get into some shout outs and then we'll get into the NXT AEW ratings quarter breakdown and all that? I want to get into some shout outs real quick. Please indulge me for just a hot minute. Shout out to our Patreon members at patreon.com/RCWR show. $5 a month. Check out bonus audio video content won't be able to find anywhere else. Shout out to my good friend and Anthony DeBlasi, Don Tony. Shout out to you, my friend. Shout out to longtime supporter, RCWR Nation, Gino Morgan. Gino. Shout out to Freddie. Shout out to Screaming Bulls I1. Fantastic wrestling sculptor. If you guys need wrestling busts of some of your favorite figures made, he's really, really good. Busts, statues, he's really good at what he does. Show him some love. Hit him up. I promise you will not be disappointed. I mean, he's got great commission work. I'm telling you. You can't beat his prices too. You cannot beat his prices. Check him out. Screaming Bullseye 1. Actually, no. I always say I know it's Screaming Bull. It's Screaming Bulls 1. Screaming Bulls 1. Put in the actual number 1. Screaming Bulls 1. Shout out to Michael Wolf, JD Davis. Shout out to Wishful Walking Videos. Check them out on YouTube. Wishful Walking Videos. And our newest sponsor, I think we're going to be working with these guys one more time. I believe we're supposed to be working with them also on our Wrestlemania Backlash post show, if I'm not mistaken. Shout out to the good kind folks over at smartbitcoininvestments.com. If you want to learn how to invest in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies and locate the best Bitcoin IRA companies, these guys at smartbitcoininvestments.com will help you out. They are centered around teaching the subject of financial literacy for Bitcoin enthusiasts. So if you're a veteran in all things Bitcoin, trying to improve your game even more, they can help you. If you're a Bitcoin beginner, you're trying to figure all of that stuff out, kind of like me. Like, I don't know a damn thing about Bitcoin, but they can help you out. Whatever phase you are in your Bitcoin education, they can definitely help you out with that and so much more. They got an app in the iOS and Android store, and you can definitely get at them all throughout social media. Just go to their website and you can find all the information there. smartbitcoininvestments.com. Appreciate all of those guys. So you see what went down there with the CDC? You know, now you got Fauci and the CDC. Now they're basically saying, oh, if you got your COVID shot, you can now go outside. Don't wear a mask. Have a good old time. You can go to a place inside and you don't need no mask. You may want to consider wearing a mask at a huge gathering, but you don't need no mask if you're fully vaccinated. Look, I ain't going to be long-winded. Indulge me. But can I just say, wow, so wait a minute. April 3rd, we had that one lady, that week of April 3rd or whatever, sometime in early April, we had that one lady that's the face of the CDC putting on this grim fucking promo talking about how, I mean, she damn near was trying to get all teary-eyed and shit. Talking about how, thousands of people's lives continue to be lost and the importance of wearing masks and getting vaccinated and it's the end of the world as we know it. And I feel fine, all that shit going on. My whole thing is Jesus Christ. From April 3rd to what? They made that news yesterday, right? So from April 3rd to May the 13th, what changed? What changed? Seriously, what changed? Look, you can tell me till you're blue in the face. If you ask me for my honest opinion, I'm no conspiracy theorist. But I will tell you this. I was chatting it up with a couple of buddies on Facebook on my private page. Please don't send me a friend request because that is only for friends. I'm, what you see of me on the shows, you'll get in person, but it's just, I don't need no red tape. I don't need no, oh, he said that, I'm going to go run tell that, If you're a little bit curious about, want to pick my brain on some stuff, you can check out the social media pages because I'm usually pretty, what I say on my personal, I'm usually pretty open, same way. But this particular conversation, this was really just among friends and family. And I said to them, I said, okay, barely a month ago, we got told one thing. Now we're being told this. And we still don't know what's going on with kids that's 12 and under, and when it comes to them getting their vaccination shots and all that, if they're really okay, there's not enough data that's out there where we can comfortably feel, yeah, kids should be okay. You don't hear enough about, oh, these kids were in trial, they were in, you don't hear enough about stuff like that. You just can't help but be cautious, but like I said to my friends and family, I said, hey, CDC want to do that? I'm still going to wear my mask. You tell me I don't need to wear a mask when I'm fully vaccinated, nah, dog, I'm good. And my other thing, look, I'm no Republican, I'm no Democrat, I'm a straight up independent. I can go either way. Take it from me to keep hearing Dr. Flip Flopper Fauci. Dr. Flip Flopper Fauci. That's my name for him. That's how I'm dubbing him. Dr. Flip Flopper Fauci. 1 minute is this, that. I mean, he just, it's kind of like, yeah, you know what, dude, I'm done listening to you. I'm done listening to you. I'm going to follow the statistics about the amount of people that have been diagnosed with the COVID. I'm going to follow the trends as far as X amount of people that died today because of COVID. I'm going to just, you ask me straight up, it just kind of feels as though from an economic standpoint and really trying to help out the economy overall in America, why things just conveniently all of a sudden lift here. We're lifting this. Now, home in on that one thing before we move on here. And this is probably the only major non-wrestling little thing I'm going to talk about. But home in on this, and I'm going to make a bold prediction. It's interesting how we're in this position now where we can do all this stuff without a mask, right? However, respected states, counties, at their discretion, they can pretty much, whatever the mandate is going to be. Just because the CDC said one thing, it doesn't mean that state, that county, that city has to abide by. They can proceed with their own respected caution. For example, my college, which we had a virtual award ceremony today, I had received a couple awards, and our president, our school president, she said in a statement, hey, we're aware of what the CDC said and everything, but we're still going to continue to do remote learning. And by all accounts, from what everybody has been saying with regards to when campuses could possibly be open again, they're pretty much preparing for first quarter 2022. They pretty much are just looking at this whole calendar year, nothing but straight up remote learning, right? So you got counties and all that cities that's going to operate accordingly. But my whole thing, I think there's going to be, look out for a shitload of lawsuits that's going to be coming about, because there's going to, you understand what I'm saying? Because now that you got the CDC and all that, they're saying one thing, but these establishments, right? Think about that for a second. The CDC says one thing. You go to TGI Fridays and you're like, I've been fully vaccinated. I want me a big ass plate of ribs. I want me some French fries. I want me some salad. And I want me a Diet Coke. You gotta wear a mask. I don't need to wear no goddamn mask. I'm fully vaccinated. Yeah, but if you want to eat here at Fridays, you gotta wear a mask. Fuck you. I ain't wearing no goddamn mask. What the fuck you talking about? This is America. I ain't gotta do shit. Give me my food. That's what you can do right now. No, we have a sign right here. Like, we understand what the CDC is saying, but, you're still coming into a private, somewhat of a private establishment. This ain't no private establishment. It's y'all available to the public. I don't understand what the problem is. I'm putting my money here. I want you to take my money, and I want you to put food down my throat. I'm going to sue your ass. And we're going to have a boatload of lawsuits as a result. That's where I feel as far as the trajectory goes. Just watch. Lestradamus has struck before, and I've been accurate on a lot of shit. And I just feel that we're hitting some uncharted territory here, where even though, and then here's the other thing that you guys got to think about that nobody seems to be talking about. Which is, okay, you're doing this thing about no mask, right? Here's the aha. Well, for those mask and non-COVID believers, non-vaccinated believers out there, right? They can live a great white lie. Oh yeah, I've been fully vaccinated. And unless you somehow check their status, how are you understand where I'm coming from? So we are in some serious uncharted territory here that's going on. Food for thought, y'all. Food for thought. NXT, AEW ratings. Let's break this down. We talked about the ratings for the shows Wednesday. What was it? Wednesday night. We were on the air. We talked about NXT's ratings, but I told you guys I am wanting to see the quarter breakdown, and I told you guys we would know about AEW's next time we were on there, how they did for the ratings this week. If you remember my prediction, and you can go back and check out Wednesday's show, my prediction, I said that AEW would probably do about, matter of fact, bear with me here, I want to say it was 984,000 is what I had projected. So bear with me, and I can actually tell you by looking at the communities tab here. Yep, I'm looking at it right now. My prediction was 984,000. My prediction was 984,000. The actual numbers for AEW this week, 936,000. Not too shabby. So what's that, y'all? I'm off by about 56,000? I'm off by about 56,000, give or take. Sound about right? About 56,000? Definitely off by 50,000 something. So not too shabby. I mean, that's not too shabby. Let's talk AEW, since we kind of already began talking about it. So not bad. They did a 0.31 rating, so that's about 398,000 viewers. Apparently, due to a technical issue, not all of the numbers are available right now, but we got a breakdown here. So the show drew a 0.19 in the age demographic 18 to 34, which is actually, believe it or not, better than last week's Blood and Guts show. check this out for you ladies out there. Women between the ages of 35 to 49 down significantly. And that's believed to be due to the amount of blood that's been popping up more on Dynamite within recent weeks. Viewers were down 14.1%, while the 18 to 49 age demo was down 27.4%, and 18 to 34 was up by 2.3%. Show had 89,000 in men between the ages of 18 to 34, down 3.3%. 45,000 in women 18 to 34, up by 15%. 193,000 in men ages 35 to 49, down 30.8%, and 71,000 in women between the ages 35 to 49, down 48.6%. Audience was 70.9% men in the age range of 18 to 49. Now check this out. Here's the quarter breakdown. You guys ready? Home in on this now. Y'all need me to repeat something again, just post a little something in the chat. So, opening match, Jon Moxley taking on Yuji Nagata, 938,000. So pretty much you got about 357,000 at that point in that 18 to 49 range, okay? Let's not make it too technical. Let's, from here on out, just home in on the viewership number. Home in on that 938,000. Now remember that, because when it's all said and done and you look at the average for the show, the overall average rating that Dynamite did this week was 936,000. So look at that opener. That opener was 936,000. So when you hear that, you're kind of going, so they kind of maintained, it sounds like, for each quarter, but they were still overall down compared to last week. Anyway, quarter two, Cody Rhodes promo, SCU video package, 945,000. So they went up by about 7,000. Young Bucks taking on SCU. That averaged 972,000. So it's up by 27,000. Nice trend so far, right? Quarter four, Christian Cage, Matt Sydal segment, Pac versus Orange Cassidy. 925,000. Went down by 47,000. Pac, Cassidy, Kenny Omega run in, and that included the Don Callis promo, Elite promo, Adam Page, Dark Order interview. 928,000. Up 3,000. Not bad so far. Not bad so far. Let's see. Pinnacle and Inner Circle segment, 956,000. So that went up by 28,000. Remember, in that segment, Jericho demanded to have a rematch. Inner Circle, Pinnacle, one more time. And stipulation that MJF put out there, if Inner Circle loses, they have to disband forever. They can never reform. That went up by 28,000. Britt Baker interview. Thunder Rosa taking on Jasmine Allure. You also had in there your Darby Allin video package. 857,000 viewers. So you lost almost 100,000 viewers. That is just crazy when you think about that. That's crazy. Because not for nothing, you guys that checked out Wednesday's show, I gave the Britt Baker interview a lot of praise. I thought it was very well produced. It seemed very, well executed. You could really tell that somebody, really, okay, these are the bullet points we got to make, and we got to make sure that we hit a home run with this one. Just overall, I loved how it was produced. I loved how Britt was bouncing off of Jim Ross. Jim pretty much kind of throwing that ball, kind of tossing her the ball, giving her that pass. and she's just going into the paint and she's getting buckets every single time. So good. So fucking good. And then the fact that we got Thunder Rosa pretty much within that same breath, and she has a match, but you know, you could make the argument, well, I don't really know this girl that Thunder Rosa is taking on, so since I don't know who this girl is, I'm just gonna go on ahead and assume that this is maybe gonna be a squash match. Let me maybe see what else is on TV. Can maybe make that argument, teach its own, but kind of surprised at that. Of all the segments, I'm a bit taken back by that. Quarter 8, Darby Allin taking on Miro. That was your main event match for the TNT Championship, remember? Well, 969,000. So think about that. Last segment, quarter 7, Britt Baker interview and all that, you lost pretty much 100,000, 99,000 to be exact, but let's just round it off. Let's just say 100,000. 100,000 viewers you lost. But Darby Allin taking on Miro, you got that 100,000 back and then some, because again, they scored 969,000 viewers, so they went up by 112,000. It's pretty damn good. That's pretty damn good. So for the most part, now you understand what I was saying when I mentioned at the beginning, home in on that 938,000, and the fact that the overall number was 936,000. So pretty good, but at the same time, not as good as what they did for last week's Blood and Guts edition, which was 1 million and something. So not bad, not really bad. I know everybody's kind of looking at these AEW numbers, and it's funny hearing some of them, all crazy, and this is pretty good. It's actually still pretty good numbers. I think where you want to start being a bit concerned for AEW is if it's a case where, okay, you're on TNT pretty much uncontested and you're dipping into, the 700s or less. That's not really anything to be bragging about, right? Especially when you're on TNT and you just think about how many households have that, but good, strong opener, good, strong lead in with that match, and a good, strong exit for Dynamite. So, pretty good. And I told you guys, overall, I felt that show was pretty good. Now, let's talk NXT. NXT, on the other hand, remember, NXT this week, they scored a pretty low number since they've been on Tuesdays thus far. They didn't even crack 700,000, 697,000. Now, some people want to say, oh, well, they had a little bit of competition, NXT. They had a little bit of competition that was going on because there was an NBA game that was on TNT, and that game had drew 960,000 viewers, and MLB was on as well, and in MLB that had about 514,000, and look, if wrestling fans want to watch their shows, it don't matter what's on. They're gonna fucking watch their shows. Even if it's a case where they're channel flipping, they're going to watch their shows. They're going to watch their shows. I can remember at the highest point during the Monday Night Wars, and you would have all different types of shit that was on. Hell, when Jordan was still active, these shows were still bringing in some mad fucking numbers, man. So I'm not trying to hear all that stuff about, I'm not trying to hear all that. But anyway, peep this out as far as your quarter segment go. Remember, 697,000. Remember that now. That was the overall. Peep this. Quarter 1, Karrion Kross taking on Austin Theory. 651,000. Not too shabby, right? MSK taking on Breezango. 640,000. So you went down by 9,000. Pete Dunne interview, followed up by Pete Dunne taking on Leon Ruff, 723,000. In second place as far as strongest segments of the night too, by the way. Pete Dunne, Leon Ruff. They might be on to something there by accident. Very fortuitous, yeah? Up 83,000, that quarter segment. Raquel Gonzalez taking on Mercedes Martinez. 711,000, down 12,000 viewers. Quarter 5, end of Gonzalez versus Martinez. You also had in there an Isaiah Scott Swerve interview. 757,000. Remember, also part of that interview, he introduced the Hit Squad and all. 757,000. You went up by 46,000. Zoe Stark interview. Kylie O'Reilly taking on Oni Lorcan. 700,000. You lost 57,000. So kind of interesting right there. You know, now what I'm most curious about, if we were to just the whole, the basketball, the MLB, and, you know, if we were to just, you know, I'm a little bit curious if maybe one between the two, if there was something going on halftime wise, if there was a halftime show, and maybe that's why the numbers kind of picked up a little bit at the end of Gonzalez Martinez, you know, that latter half of that match. I can't help but kind of wonder about that. But anyway, Zoe Stark interview, Kylie O'Reilly taking on Oni Lorcan, 700,000. Quarter 7, end of O'Reilly versus Lorcan, Kushida, Santos Escobar, 675,000. Down 25,000. Now, where I'm a little bit confused, it's not here in the notes. I'm trying to figure out maybe somebody can help me out. I'm trying to figure out what quarter segment was Cameron Grimes joined in, where he was trying to bid on that mansion and he got outbid by the $1 Million Man. It kind of feels as though Jesus, it kind of feels as though that was maybe around, it kind of feels like it was somewhere, feels like it was after quarter 5. It feels like it was after Gonzalez and Martinez. It kind of feels like maybe it was somewhere in there, somewhere between quarter 5 and 6. So quarter 6 was also the Zoe Stark interview, Kylie O'Reilly taking on Oni Lorcan. It kind of feels like it was somewhere in there. I don't know how good you all's memory is with that, but yeah. Quarter 8, Kushida versus Escobar, 710,000 viewers, up 35,000. So as you can kind of hear with the trend there, just watch my hand. And I apologize for those of you that's only gonna, maybe be able to hear the audio version of this if I am going to release the audio version of it. I don't know just yet. But just kind of think about that for a second. So you start off here, and then you went down, but then you went up, right? But then you went down, but then you went up, but then you went down, but then you went down, and then you went up. So kind of a nice little trend that's going on there. Show had a 0.11 in the age brackets 12 to 17, down 8.3%. 0.7 in the 18 to 34 age demographic, down 9.3%. A 0.29 in the 35 to 49 age range, down 5.7%. A 0.38 in the 50 plus age bracket, that is down by 7.3%. The audience was 65% male. That was your average. the audience percentage, gender-wise, 65.4% males and 72.2% males in the 12 to 17 age range. So take that for what it's worth. But nice to see that Santos and Kushida were in a really good position there where they actually gained and all that. Pretty good. And you also got to give it up to Isaiah Swerve Scott. You know, his joint was pretty good. Hit Squad and all that. Leon Ruff and Pete Dunne. You know, so hopefully we can see a repeat kind of trend, if you will, a continuation of some of those numbers that we just talked about there. Yeah. So good shit right there. You learned something there. All right. Hey, we got Impact Wrestling. They're going to be doing a Under Siege pay-per-view event. That is going to be on their Impact Plus app. I will be checking that out. And I don't know. We'll see what happens. I kind of feel like maybe I'll do a post show for that one. I kind of feel like what we probably will. We'll see. It depends on my mood. We'll see how it is. But the matches that we got coming up so far, we got a 6-way number 1 contenders match. Chris Sabin taking on Chris Bay, Sami Callihan, Matt Cardona, Trey Miguel, Moose. Whoever wins this becomes the new number 1 contender that will face whoever the Impact World Champion is. You ask me who I'm liking. It's between Trey Miguel and Moose. I gotta go with Moose. I just don't see how do I pick against Moose? Come on, man. Seriously, how do I pick against Moose? I'm going with Moose. Looks like your main event match is going to be Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. They're going to be taking on Eddie Edwards and Finn Juice. I'm going to go with Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers, and the way the pay-per-view essentially ends, it's going to be Moose staring down the face of Kenny Omega. That's what I see coming about. I could see Good Brothers maybe trying to help Omega, maybe try to do a little beat down on Moose, but Moose pretty much gets the upper hand, goes off with Moose standing tall over all those guys. Is this a taste of things to come in the future for Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers? I can see something like that coming about. Other matches, we got Deonna Purrazzo defending the Knockouts title against Havoc. Oh, that should be killer fucking good. I gotta go with Deonna Purrazzo. The girl's finally winning me over, man. After I was doing my Seinfeld skit for a hot minute there. I was doing my Jerry Seinfeld skit. Why is she called the Virtuoso? I don't get it. Now I get it. No. Well, I love me some Deonna Purrazzo. Cute little button, man. She's a cute little button. I got her retaining. Knockouts tag titles are on the line as Jordynne Grace and Rachel Ellering defend against Fire and Flavor. I would love to see Fire and Flavor get the titles back, but I don't see it happening. No, I don't see it happening. Grace Ellering for the retain. Josh Alexander takes on Il Fantasmo. I was very taken back by Il Fantasmo's ring debut there from last week. Pretty fucking good. Man, Josh Alexander is coming up too. Shit. Oh, and this is for the X Division title. Well, didn't Josh Alexander just win the X Division title? So I think this would be his first title defense. I gotta go with Josh. It would really surprise me if Il Fantasmo were to pick up the dub and become the new X Division champion, but I'm gonna go with Josh Alexander on this one. Willie Mack takes on W. Morrissey, formerly known as Big Kaz, formerly known as Kaz XL. W. Morrissey hands down. Brian Myers takes on Black Taurus. See, he's trying to get a little bit of revenge for what went down a couple of weeks ago when he got a beat down by Decay. I'm going to go with Black Taurus. Well, wait. Yeah, Black Taurus. I'm going to go with Black Taurus. Post-match, I can see some type of a beatdown happening. And just kind of following what's been going on with Impact's writing so far, don't be surprised if maybe Matt Cardona comes out. Just saying. We got another Knockouts match that's supposed to be happening. Kimberly and Susan, they're going to be teaming up to take on Taylor Wilde and Tenille Dashwood. I'm going to go with the returning Taylor Wilde and Tenille Dashwood. I'm going to go with that. And our last matchup, Impact Tag Titles, #1 contenders match. Winners of this go on to face the tag champions. So we got Ace Austin and Madman Fulton. They'll team up to face TJP and a returning Petey Williams. That should be pretty good. Triple XL is in there as well. We also got Rohit Raju and Shera. Tough call, y'all. Tough call. I'm liking... this is a tough one. Damn. This is a tough one, y'all. I'm gonna go with Rohit Raju and Shera. I'm gonna go with Rohit Raju and Shera. And that's it. That's final. So yeah, that's gonna be streaming on Impact Plus Saturday night, May 15th. I'm definitely going to be checking that out. If you're following me on social media, I'll definitely let you guys know when I'm live and all that. I'll probably have my DMs on, so if you maybe want to come join the live hangout, check out the pay-per-view with me and a few others, I'll definitely share the link and all that. All right, so let's talk WrestleMania Backlash. We got WrestleMania Backlash. That's going to be going down this Sunday, May the 16th. And where is my Backlash card? Hang on. I actually got to pull that up again. I don't know how. Somehow I lost that bad boy, though. There we go. All right, WrestleMania Backlash. Here's the matches as it stands right now. We got about 6 matches so far. Nothing has been announced for pre-show just yet. Damien Priest taking on The Miz. Lumberjack match. Damien Priest, hands down. We just need to be done with this fucking feud already. Just be done with this already. I think the real question that's probably going to be coming out of this, though, is ultimately Miz was put in this situation, you could say, because of John Morrison. So is Miz going to retaliate in some fashion on his bestie in John Morrison? And if maybe as a result of that, Miz, John Morrison, they start feuding, what exactly, what I'm saying? That's the bigger question that's going to be coming from out of this. But Damien Priest just needs to be so fucking done. Look, if WWE were to continue with Damien Priest, Miz, and Morrison, then you gotta add a new element to it. And I say you add Keith Lee into the mix already. Keith Lee is being very cryptic about some of the stuff that he's putting out there on social media. It kind of feels as though we're going to be seeing him maybe a lot sooner, hopefully, rather than later. But yeah, he's being very cryptic right now with some of the stuff that's been going on. Really weird. And the last little thing that I heard with regards to Keith Lee, Dave Meltzer, he's not really sure because, as always, he doesn't really know what the hell's going on. I mean, you hear the rumblings about health issues. Nobody really knows if, 1, the health issues are legit, and then 2, well, is he dealing with COVID? Remember, somebody had brought that question up in the chat not long ago, and I kind of said, I don't really like dealing with rumors. Let's just kind of deal with facts, but it would be actually really cool if, we're going to continue on with this Damien Priest thing and John Morrison and The Miz. We go ahead and we add a nice new layer to this bad boy, and we put Keith Lee into the mix. I think that would definitely freshen things up quite a bit, don't you think? So we'll see how that plays out. But I'm going with Damien Priest in this one. Roman Reigns defends his universe. I was about to say some other name for a title. He defends his Universal Championship against Cesaro. I love me some Cesaro. You guys have no idea. I love me some Cesaro. But Cesaro, nah, man. I gotta go with my brother and Roman Reigns, man. My man gotta continue to put food on the table. My man gotta continue to hook up his family, yo. My man needs to continue to provide. I got to go with the head of the table. You don't bite the dog that's feeding you. You don't. You don't bite the hand that feeds you. I got to go with Roman Reigns. I still honestly believe. And look, some people, they've hated me over the years and everything, but you got to admit, I've been, pretty accurate about some of the stuff that I've been laying out, some of my predictions and all that, and I've said it months in advance and everything. I pretty much was here shortly after WrestleMania, and I told you guys, because I think somebody brought up the question, who do I see taking the title off of Roman Reigns? I am still going with Big E. It seems that all roads lead to Big E. Big E or bust. Big E is the one that's going to get the job done. But on this night, Sunday night, WrestleMania Backlash, Roman Reigns. The Dirty Dogs, Dolph Ziggler, Bobby Roode, taking on the Mysteriosos, SmackDown Tag Titles. New SmackDown Tag Champions, hands down. New SmackDown Tag Champions, hands down. Hopefully they can freshen up the SmackDown Tag Division. Hopefully they can do a little something there. Rhea Ripley defends her Raw Women's Championship against Asuka, Charlotte Flair. Rhea Ripley, hands down. I gotta be consistent. Remember what I had talked about, I believe, on the show earlier this week, or it was last week at this point, because time flies by pretty quick for me. But remember how I alluded to maybe eventually you have... Yeah, I talked about the whole Eva Marie thing. So it was actually on Monday's RCWR show. Go back and check it out. But I talked about how wouldn't it be something if when Eva Marie returns, that she's put in a position where I just told you guys, I went Leestradamus on y'all ass. I said Eva Marie is probably going to become the new Raw Women's Champion. The question is, who is she going to get the title off of? Is she going to get the title off of Becky Lynch, or is she going to get it off of Rhea Ripley? And I told you guys, like, two interesting scenarios you could go with there. That's two unique positions that's presented before WWE there. So, but on this night, I'm not seeing a title change. Asuka, no. Charlotte Flair, no. I'm not seeing. Let me tell you something. To do a title change, for this particular match, to do a title change, that would send a message to me that maybe a certain individual or individuals aren't that high on Rhea Ripley. They want to kind of go back to the woodshed and maybe, and what the real deal needs to be is just, we need motherfuckers on the writing and booking teams to take fucking accountability here, because they have just failed this woman tremendously since she's been on the main roster so far these past several weeks. They really have, compared to how she was down in NXT and everything. I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed with how they've been building her up. so far. Bianca Belair, Bayley, SmackDown Women's title. Bayley hands. Oh no, I apologize. Wrong B. Wrong B. Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair hands down. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. This is just chapter 1 for these girls. I'm going with Bianca Belair for the retain. Bobby Lashley defending his WWE Championship against Drew McIntyre, Braun Strowman. Lashley hands down. Lashley hands down. I just... Strowman, no. McIntyre, no. No. Lashley hands down. Lashley hands down. I'm seeing as the guy. I'm seeing him as the guy to come out of this. I still feel as though, yeah, I think we might get our wish as far as Lashley, Lesnar, maybe SummerSlam. I still kind of feel we're going to be going in that direction. So Lashley is still on a roll. I mean, it sucks what went down with the Hurt Business and all, but Lashley has still been on the roll as of late. So I just don't see why you would even, you understand, why would you got a good thing still going. Why would you sabotage that? I just don't see how you pick against. Now I'm looking at this card again, just trying to see if there's maybe a curveball that could come out of this. If there were a curveball on any match, maybe a curveball for that triple threat match for the Raw Women's Championship. If there were a curveball, I would say look out for. That would probably be the match I would go with. But I'm really not seeing... Yeah, I don't see any other curveball. So one more time. Damien Priest over Miz. Lumberjack match. Roman Reigns retains the Universal title. Mysteriosos are your new SmackDown Tag Champions. Rhea Ripley for the retain, but remember I told you guys as far as a curveball, that's the match. Bianca Belair retains her SmackDown title over Bayley. Lashley retains the WWE Championship over McIntyre and Strowman. And that's how I'm looking at WrestleMania Backlash. And yeah, we'll definitely be live. We'll have a special live post show for WrestleMania Backlash this Sunday for you guys. We'll be streaming all throughout the usual platforms, so you guys can tune in, sound off on your thoughts about the pay-per-view and all that. Should be fun, man. I'm looking forward to it. Should be awesome. Question was asked earlier, what do I think about Dark Side of the Ring so far? Kind of premature to ask that question right now because they just came back a week prior, right? So what they've put out so far is only 2 episodes, correct? I commented on the Brian Pillman Dark Side of the Ring episode at great length, as I did about an hour of a review for that. So if you guys had missed that, it's actually available on the YouTube channel, all throughout Twitch and the other places, but do YouTube first, please. And or whatever you frequent the most, but try to show that extra support to YouTube. But I reviewed it at great length. I said that it was a great start to their respected season and everything. I felt that it was a very, very solid, strong opener. I was more heavily invested in it and enjoyed it more than the Chris Benoit season 2 opener and everything. I did not watch the newest episode. What was that on Nick Gage? I think it was on. I did not watch that episode just yet. I have it on I guess you could say DVR, or maybe it's saved because I have my YouTube TV, right? But who is it? Oh God, I'm having a brain fart right now. I have YouTube TV, however, Vice TV is not on YouTube TV. Try saying that 10 times fast, right? I have YouTube TV, but I don't have Vice TV. So since I don't have Vice TV on YouTube TV, I had to go with Philo TV so I can watch Vice TV. Woo! Anyway, yeah, so and Philo TV, the way they've got it set up, it's basically, add these shows and they're saved. It's like a online, it's like it's in the cloud. All the episodes that you want to watch, it's kind of like online DVR basically. So I've got the latest episode of Dark Side of the Ring ready to watch. So I'm definitely going to be checking that out this weekend and pretty much go from there. It's a little bit too early though. I mean, and I'm not just saying that. I want to, answer your question, but ask me that question again. What, they're back for like 13 episodes? Maybe ask me that after we've gotten about 4 episodes, because at least that way I can kind of be like, okay, we got about a quarter of the episodes in so far, and we can kind of go from there. But I'll definitely sound off about what I thought about the newest episode that they dropped this past Thursday. I'll definitely sound off on it on next Monday's RCWR show for sure. Noe, thanks, appreciate that. Thank you. It just hits hard because it's about to be a year since my grandpa died. But thanks for the advice. No problem. Trust me, we all mourn differently, man. Yeah, we all mourn differently. We all take losses differently. Just being on God's green earth for 40 years and counting now. Like I said, it doesn't get easier. You just got to hold on to the solid memories, the good memories, and you keep that going, and you just hope that they're in a better place, and when your time comes, you'll join them in that better place as well. And as long as you hold on to the good memories, you are fondly reminded of the great times that you had with them, fun stories that you can share with friends, family members. They'll always live on, inside you forever. They'll always be with you, no matter where you go. Let's see. Anything else we need to get into before we get off the air? I got to tell you, originally what was planned for this show, I did not plan on originally talking about New Jack for as long as we talked about New Jack and everything. And originally we were going to end the New Jack place. We were going to go over you all's polling results for the Triple H show or the John Cena show. And I was looking forward. I had the show ready to go. Everything was ready to go. Bullet points, everything was ready. And then the stuff with New Jack, and I pretty much had to make a decision. Okay, well, what are we going to talk about here? And I had to, unfortunately, cut that. So I know you guys were kind of looking forward to the Triple H John Cena talk. We're going to push that to Monday's RCWR show. But we'll definitely be talking about it then. So now, if you guys did not get a chance to vote and you all are kind of going, the hell, Triple H show, John Cena show, what the hell are you talking about? So on YouTube, youtube.com/the RCWR show, click on the communities tab. And I'm going to try not to post anything else so you guys can kind of find it a little bit easier. But it is 1, 2, 3. It's the 4th post, and there's a poll that's up, and I'm asking you guys which show back in the day pissed you off more: the Triple H show, where all your favorites got buried by Triple H, or the John Cena show. Plain and simple. If you didn't vote yet, go vote. Originally, we were going to talk about your results and go over on Wednesday, but I saw a significant spike in people that were voting. I decided, okay, I'm going to extend this until Friday And then we had got the news that we had got about New Jack. So we're going to let it ride for this weekend, and we'll definitely get into it on Monday's show. All right. All right. So once again, as far as programming notes go, Patreon members definitely going to be recording a new Wrestling with the Topics with the Misses this weekend. So look forward to that. I will be sitting down to record a new, I think at this point, since Impact Wrestling is going to be doing that Under Siege event, I'm just going to do an Under Siege post show, and pretty much we'll talk about Impact and all that on that particular episode. So I'm pretty confident we'll stream that for you guys soon as that event goes off the air Saturday night. So look forward to that. And then Sunday, we got the WrestleMania Backlash post show. Y'all know I'm going to be definitely on top of that, covering it. And let's see, what else? Trying to think what else. Monday, new RCWR show after Raw goes off the air. So, I mean, we are loaded up these next couple of days. We are loaded up. Meantime, please be kind. Rewind. Check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads, wherever you get your podcasts. And one more time as we get ready to make our exit. You guys had a good time. Please, if you haven't done so, hit that like, hit the subscribe, click the bell. When you hit that like, it really helps YouTube push out our content more, so that more eyeballs can check it out and everything. So appreciate that in advance. You can get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. I see we've been picking up some followers on the Instagram account. Do me a favor, though. I am not a fan of accounts that are locked. I'm not a fan of that. If you are going to add me and you have a locked account, at least send me a message. Give me something. Let me know, hey, I check out your podcast. My name is, give me something. So I don't like accounts where it's just, because my whole thing is I'm not private. It's like you can see what all I'm posting on those social media feeds that I promote. So, yeah, I greatly would appreciate that, because I can't tell you how many people, I've basically like, well, okay, I can't see what the hell you're, and it's like, and I don't follow back. So, yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys had a good time. Hope you guys had enjoyed tonight's show. Let's do this again, man. We'll see you guys about less than 24 hours after that Impact Wrestling Under Siege post show. Unless you got a busy schedule, you're not going to be able to check out any of the content I'm going to be putting out this weekend, because you got, other plans. You got different plans. Have a great weekend, and hopefully we can at least catch some of you guys Monday after WWE Raw goes off the air. All right. Till next go around, wishing all y'all to be safe, and most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you all next go around. Adios.